Shalom everyone, we're in Parashat Metsora. Usually, most of the years, which means 12 years in a cycle of 19, this Parashat goes together with Parashat Tazria, which we read just yesterday. So Tazria and Metsora usually go together. However, 7 times every cycle of 19, the Hebrew calendar, we read it by itself. So when it is together with Tazria most of the times, so it's being read after Passover. When is it like this? When it's a leap year, so it's being read before Passover. So it has to fit both periods of time, and it fits because if you remember, whoever was with us, when we started the commentary on the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, we learned then at that time something very important, that is that the book of Leviticus is being read when it is a time that we need to purify our inner voices so we can get the calling. Vayikra means, and he called. Who called? The Almighty. Every human being has a calling. The problem is, we are most of the time so busy with the noise, so we have no idea what's our calling. As my Rabbi used to say, that most people, if you take away their troubles, they'll have an identity crisis. Because they have no idea who are they and what is that they want to become. They just know in the negative what is that they don't want to have in their lives. And you're so busy of what you don't want. And modern psychology is teaching that if you're so busy of what you don't want, that's what you become. You know, some people say, I'm never going to be like my mom, I'm never going to be, and they become like their mother. I'm never going to be like my father. They become like your father, because what you're focusing on, that's what you become. So, if you want to focus on positive, focus on positive. Saying I'm not negative doesn't make it positive. So this is very important. So how do we do that inner cleansing? This is the period of the readings of the parashot of Vayikra till we get to the fine-tuning, and it's all about inner cleansing. So, what's in common? We spoke last week about Parashat Tazria. Now, Tazria, we said, Parashat Tazria starts with 8 verses about a woman getting impregnated, and then the rest of it is talking about this weird disease that by mistake is called leprosy, but in Hebrew it's called tzaraat. Most of the parasha is about that leprosy, kind of, which has nothing to do, you ask any doctor, any physician, nothing to do, the leprosy described in the Torah has nothing to do with what is called leprosy in modern medical science. And the name of this parasha is also Metsora, also about leprosy. Okay, so we understand it's something in common. And we said that Parashat Tazria is also weird because the name Tazria is talking about Isha ki Tazria, when a woman is giving seed. While we all know that it's the man who's giving the seed, and the woman is just the vessel for the seed. Okay? She creates the eggs, but eggs in Hebrew is beitza, and semen or seeds are zera, tazria. So we were talking about that this parasha is teaching us about planting seeds and the art of planting seed, which means every day is the first day of the rest of your life. Every decision is detrimental and important about whatever is going to happen with you. The question is, do you really have a free will? And we set the difference between what people think usually as defined as free will, like I felt like doing it. And that's not free will, because that is a kind of a programmed, built-in decision-making that is based on your own nature and, your likes and dislikes. That's not free will, because if your best friends know what you're going to decide, It means that this is predetermined. You didn't make a choice. You just went with the flow. While if we understand the concept of Tazria, and soon we'll see, which is the beginning of Metsora, to make the decision means to be aware of my emotional reaction to the decision-making process and realizing, is that a negative emotional reaction, which is usually something that I experience on a regular basis all my life, or most of my life, or most of the last, who knows, years or months? Or is it something that I generated and created new, light out of darkness, positive out of negative, sweet out of bitter? That's where free will comes in. Can you make and turn the negative into positive? Here comes the free will. Are you aware of your reaction? Because we have all kinds of reactions. Emotional reactions that basically define who we are. And that's how our friends know us. They know how we react, and that's how they know us. They know we hate chocolate, some of us, and we love, hummus. Okay? Some people, it's the opposite. They hate hummus, they love chocolate. Some people love both. Okay? But that's a preconditioned situation. Okay? Now we're talking about certain situations. When we are being faced with pressure or temptation, we react in a certain way for most of our lives. Are we saying to ourselves, hey, that's the way I reacted till now? Is that aligned with the light? Is that aligned with positivity? Is that aligned with the person I want to become? And if not, shut it down and connect to who you want to become, to the light that you want to become. And then you'll see, you'll have different ideas coming about likes and don't likes, preparations and stuff like this. And by this you insert a new seed that becomes the tree which is the rest of your life. That's where the free will is. So again, Kabbalistically, what is free will? Free will is when you are aware of your emotions, you're aware of your, let's say, built-in, predetermined, whatever, reactive nature. You decide to bring that to a halt, and you reconsider, and you ask for help from the endless light. In that moment, a new preconditioning will come in. A new set of preparations will come in. A new set of liking and don't liking will come in. That will be the new you, the more improved you. This is where free will is about. Now, we read the parasha yesterday, and that was very significant because yesterday was the new moon of Aries. And the new moon of Aries means this is the beginning of the new year when it comes to any challenges. The Hebrew calendar has few cycles, and each one of them starts in another place on the cycle. There's a cycle that starts from the vessel, and that is what we know as Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, whatever. It's coming from the bottom. What is about the vessel? It's about life, chaim, family, children, banim, sustenance, mezonot. Chaim, banim, mezonot. Life, the longevity, family and children, okay, and sustenance. Chaim, banim, mezonot. This is coming from us building the vessel. So some say the world was created in Rosh Hashanah. But there's another opinion. The world was created on Nisan. Can you argue about either the truth is this or that? No, we're talking about that is from the vessel point of view, which is from the bottom up. That's why it's the month of Tishrei. if you know the Hebrew alphabet, if you take it from Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet all the way down, the last letters are Reish, Shin, Taf, Tishrei, Taf, Shin, Reish, bottom up. That's Tishrei, from the bottom up, that's the vessel. What's the name of this month? The biblical name, Chodesh HaAviv. Aviv, Aleph, Bet, that's coming from up. So Aleph, Bet is this month, Taf, Shin, Reish is Tishrei. So we have from the two sides. So what's coming from the light point of view? The light point of view is, are you going to take the initiative and becoming the light this year? Are you going to, in every conflict, are you going to become the light, to become the initiator, and to re-choose? So if Rosh Hashanah, Tishrei Rosh Hashanah in the fall, is about life, family, and sustenance, this Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Hashanah for the kings. How do you know? We say Rosh Hashanah, we read yesterday Parashat HaChodesh. HaChodesh Hazeh, that's the book of Exodus chapter 12, starting from verse 1. And it says HaChodesh Hazeh, this month, Rishon hu lachem lechodshei Hashanah. This is lachem. Okay? Rosh Chodesh hu lachem. It's twice the word lachem. And many Kabbalists says lachem is the same letters as melech. Are you going to rule? Are going to reign? Are going to be in control? We're starting a new season. Season of what? In the arena, there are rounds. Okay? There's a ding. You go for a round. Are you going to give a knockout to the dark side? Or are you going to be knocked out yourself? So all the arenas, all the, all the challenges and the fights for the coming year are being determined from yesterday, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, till it's going to be sealed and completed by midnight full moon, which happens to be the night of the Seder. So it's all about, we're having 15 days fighting to establish a new kind of a calendar. Who are going to be the rounds in the next year? So we want to just, take some forces into effect. We want the best rounds are today. Now they're ranging right now, all the rounds. So these 15 days are very, 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 very important of overcoming any kind of inner negativity. So what's the symbol of inner negativity? The outside symbol, because in the biblical thing, there's always an abstract idea, but there's always a physical manifestation you can touch. Because abstract stuff, it's too much for most of us, most of the time. So what symbolizes in this season, more than anything else, the negativity? So if you know a little bit of the science of plants, some of the sages in the Talmud say that the tree of knowledge where everything started with was wheat. Wheat? Why wheat? They said an apple. No, our sages never said an apple. Okay? By the way, apple, the way we know apple, was not known at that time in the Middle East. Okay? Out of the question. So there was no apple. It happened here. What was growing over here? Wheat. How do you say wheat? Chita. How do you write chita? Chet, tet, and the completion is the hay. Okay? How do you say sin in Hebrew? Chet. How do you write it? Chet, tet, aleph. Okay, that even sounds the same. It's written almost the same. And we know that wheat, most people today have wheat problems, gluten. What makes the wheat rise? Gluten. Gluttony. What's one of the biggest diseases of today's world? People eating against their needs, right? And getting themselves sick. Just because they can't stand the temptation. Isn't that the biggest problem today? One of the biggest. Okay? One of them. So the wheat, and right now, if you live in Israel, this is exactly the time wheat flowers. This is exactly the days of the flowering of the wheat. Now, how long does it take till you have the seed? 49 days. So from Passover, 49 days of the counting of the Omer, and then on the 50th day, Shavuot, you can already have a complete whole wheat growing in the field. You can take the harvest, the first harvest of the wheat. Now, if you get that cycle, is it by mistake? No mistakes. No mistakes. So, what is flowering? Like the DNA, like giving the seed, like getting impregnated. Correct? So, this is the time to plant the seed. How do you plant the seed? You're fighting your own evil inclination. And that's why we're cleaning the chametz, which whatever inside us get us sour, right? And by the way, we learned that sour is a Hebrew word. Because in the biblical language, if you look at the list we read yesterday in the synagogue, what are the stuff you have to get out of the house before Pesach? It is chametz, seor, umachmetzet. What is seor? Seor is that thing that gets sour. Seor, sour, it's the same word. Okay? So the word sour in English somehow comes from Hebrew. That's the sourdough. It's called in Hebrew seor. So it's coming from Hebrew. What does it do? What does the sourdough does to the wheat, to the flour? Makes it rise. What is the negativity inside every human being does to that person? Gets you bigger than what you think you are, what you're supposed to be. And that gives you a problem about weighing your opportunities, who you are, what you're supposed to do with your life. And when you don't read reality properly, you find yourself in troubles. Correct. Why? Because what blinds us the most? Our ego, our negativity, our hurt, our fear from being hurt, all of this conditioning. So, how is that connected to leprosy? We'll see. But first of all, it's about putting seeds. This is the time to put the seed for the rest of the year. What the Kabbalistic legend is saying, all the years of the coming, all the fights, all the cycles, all the rounds, all the fights that are going to happen this year among nations, companies, one person to another, one group to another, and the most important, inside each one of us. This movie is being decided those 15 days. Okay? And we know that fights, it's chaos. All chaos in our lives is coming from any kind of a conflict, right? You don't have chaos because people are agreeing and working together, right? That's not chaos. Chaos is coming from people being blind and not understanding that cooperation is much healthier than conflict. So, what do you do in order to eliminate chaos? You have to put order, right? How do you call the procession that most Jews go through the last night till the midnight of the full moon? We called it Seder. What does Seder mean? Order. Put everything in order. How? By simply eating matzah. And what is a matzah? You take the dough, you take the flour that had water, and you start beating the daylight out of it. You don't let it rise. And before it knows what happened, you kick it into the oven, and it's baked, squatted. Didn't have even the chance. So how do you create an immunization against any disease? You take the disease and you turn the disease itself as the immunization. That's a matzah. That's why the Zohar says that the matzah is the remedy against evil inclination. So, What do we do during the night of Passover? We simply get a high dose, quadruple dose of the remedy, because you need to get the shock. That's the first treatment. The rest of the 7 days, you take it twice a day with the meals, as prescribed. Okay? This is what you do. So why don't we eat matzah the whole year round? Rabbi Elazar is asking his father, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, hello, you have to go to the rounds. You have to go to the arena. You have to make a fight. You can't ignore it. It is part of your life. But you have once a year, like you go for a retreat, a Pesach retreat, in which you get treated to lower the disease, which is called ego and swelling up of the ego and swelling up of the pain and swelling up of all what we don't need to swell up. Okay? Because it makes us feel stupid or improper and all the what we call chaos. And when you let that down, you might be able to see around you and to start realizing what we learned on Mount Sinai, that when we are one, we can get much more achieved and much more done. Okay? But first you have to put aside, that evil inclination, the chametz. Okay? So, Parshat Metsora is about, first and for all, the biggest issue. And as we said, we studied that in Parashat Tazria already, leprosy. What about leprosy? How do you define leprosy? Says the Zohar very clearly, Metsora motzi shem ra. Who is leper? It's a person who is giving bad names to others. Why would somebody do that? And this is a terrible thing to do. Terrible thing. To make other people look terrible. That's terrible. It's like, we know it's even worse than murder. Because murder is once a lifetime event. You kill the guy, he's dead. Bad-mouthing the guy. Every time somebody mentions, oh, I read in the paper, or I heard somebody said, I got the WhatsApp, and that, you kill the guy, it's a serial killing of the same person again and again and again and again. So what's worse? Murder, you can maybe make a correction, but bad-mouthing somebody else, terrible. Very, very, very hard to fix. So, now you understand. So now what is the connection to that? So remember once I was teaching in Toronto, we had a whole community over there, and people really wanted to learn all the laws of bad-mouthing. So you have a book, amazing book, this size, okay? Shmirat HaLashon. Guard your tongue. Chafetz Chaim. It's called by the author, the name of the book is Chafetz Chaim. Who is the person who wants life? Okay, so the name of the book became the name of the person, and the sage who wrote it a few centuries ago, Chafetz Chaim. But somebody noticed that the Chafetz Chaim himself, this guy himself, this rabbi, he was talking the whole time. So, how people are very smart when the less they know, the more smart they are. This kind of people. So he goes to the rabbi and he says, Rabbi, you wrote a book about, how terrible it is to speak evil about people. And I see that you don't stop talking. The rabbi looked at him and he said, I wrote the book, I know the rules. So I can talk whatever, how much as I want because I know how to talk. The problem is the person doesn't know the rules. You better shut up because you don't know what to say. And part of the rule is also that it's bad-mouthing, it's bad speech. It's not just, under that rule, it's not just not to say bad things about somebody else, is when to say good things about somebody else, when you can, and you should, and when you're not speaking and not saying the good things, that's also terrible. So that group we want to study the book. So I said, that's going to take a while, but so we started. We met once, twice a week. We studied the book, page by page, page by page. And after a few weeks, they said, Just a second, it's the same thing, every page, the same thing. It's all about being a creator. It's all about what we learn when you study Kabbalah. That being a creator means whenever you want to say something or make a decision, look inside. Look at your emotional reaction. And try to see if it is negative, shut it down and turn it into positive. When it turns into positive, now act upon it. And you know what? When you feel light instead of darkness, you would know. Say or not to say. You would know. Because it's not, you read the book, it's all about that. It's not about what you said. You can say the same thing and it is Lashon Hara, bad mouthing. When you say it in a derogatory way. When you say it because you're upset. Because you need someone to go down so you can go up. But if you say the same thing from a different place because you care for the other person, because you want to lift him up, that's not Lashon Hara. That's a Lashon Hara if you don't say it. If you say bad thing about somebody because you want to warn his employer, because the guy you know, he worked for you, and you know the guy is a thief. Oh, he's a great accountant, but he's a thief. Okay? You know, some of them are. What can I do? I'm not bad-mouthing accountants. I'm talking about a professional can be very good in his profession, but he's terrible in relationships. So if the new employer calls you, should you tell the truth about the person? Of course you have to. Why? You have to warn the other guy, because if you didn't warn him, he might fall into a place that he wouldn't fall if you just tell him. The guy is amazing with that machine, but never leave the office unlocked when he's around, because he can't stand looking in when nobody's around and get some money out of it. Okay? So, as long as you keep the office locked when he's around, he's amazing in doing this. If you don't say that, it's terrible. Okay? So, it's not what to say, what's not to say. It's all about, do you really care? Are you really enlightened? Do you come from a place of making things better? Or you're coming from a place that because you're upset, you want everybody else to be upset? Because you feel down, you want everybody else to feel down, because Metsora likes company. It's all about what we said before. What is the seed you're planting every moment of your life? Are you aware of your emotions? Are you aware that those emotions are repetitive, coming and messing up your life? Are you willing to take charge of these emotions? Oh, you know, the psychologist said, that's the way I am. I have to accept myself the way I am. Terrible. We're humans. We're here to fix things. You know, the way wheat grows, why isn't God make it grow like, you know, bread? You know, one tree for whole bread, one tree for white bread, one tree for croissants, and one for Danish. You know, Danish with, you know, why do I have to get the wheat, you know, get all the dirt out of it, grind it, make flour, from the flour, because the Creator wanted us to put things together ourselves.
Why is the bracha say hamotzi lechem min haaretz?
And why are you saying that? Because the Creator made everything almost perfect. Because to teach us humans, we are not here to be perfect. We're here to perfect. Okay? And when we perfect things, that's why if you have certain nature, certain attribute, and it's not helping you, you're here to perfect it. That's your job. Same way bread does not grow on trees, and the same thing, shoes do not grow on cows. You have to get the leather and make shoes out of it. They don't grow this way. Why? Because we wanted to be creators, because we were created in the image of God. So one of the biggest jobs, if not the biggest of them all, is You're born with something sour, make it sweet. You got a lemon, make a lemonade, right? And if you don't, you lost the round. You have to come for another round till you do it right. And that's why a lot of people, they're born sour because, oh, who knows how many rounds they missed already. Here we go again. Let's try. Okay? So, if you have an environment that says, oh, get up, so you fell, so what? Try all over again. Oh, you're so lucky. But if everybody says, oh, you messed it up for good, you'll never be able to make it. Oh, you have a bigger challenge. You have to find the power, say, although and in spite, everybody said I can't, I'll make it. Why, history is full of those kind of people, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody said you can't make it. Remember Alexander Graham Bell, the poor guy? Nobody wanted to buy his invention. Nobody thought you can make money, two people talking, to a box with a wire in between. Oh, so funny. This is so weird. So weird. Nobody's going to make. So the poor Alexander Graham Bell had to open his own company. He called it Bell. Very creative. With this thing, it was not so creative. Okay, he created Bell Company. Oh, because it was ringing a bell. You know what? How many people are making a living right now thanks to the phone companies, right? How many people can't have a business without the phones, right? Can you imagine world economy without phones, without Alexander Graham Bell? And the poor Bell Company became just a little company. He had a kiosk, right? Now it became so big, the American government was afraid it's going to swallow the whole government. So they forced it to split it into a few companies. Baby Bells. Which each one of them is a very tiny small company, like AT&T, for instance, or Bell South. Right, tiny companies. Just for one person because nobody wanted to buy his product. Oh, the poor. Yeah, but that's how this world is built. Okay? So, you feel you're sour? Don't become chametz, because in 2 weeks from now, Friday morning, you have to burn all the chametz. You don't want to be the one that get burnt. You should be on the side that burn their chametz, or not the chametz that goes in smoke up to heaven. Okay? Don't be the victim. Be the one who checks for the chametz and set it on fire. Like to say, bye-bye chametz, bye-bye sour, bye-bye negativity. I'm willing to let that go and to put some order in my life. And that's why, what do you do? One of the things you do in Pesach, not just that you chew up the matzah, leaning on the left. Mm-hmm. Why on the left? Because your left side is the negative side. Your right side is a plus. That's a plus, that's a minus. Okay? So, what does it mean to be positive? Is always sitting on your left. Don't let it rise too much. Same thing, eating the bitter herbs. What do you do with the bitter herbs? You have to chew it up. Same thing in life. When it's bitter, chew it up. Don't let it chew you up. You chew it up. You chew it up because you know what? As long as you chew it up, finally it becomes sweet. If you spit it out, you swallow it, next time. Next time. Okay, so the whole thing about Parashat Metsora, we just somehow understood. Because what does it mean? Every time you want to say something, want to have an opinion, check it out. Maybe make a checklist. Is it negative? Is it derogatory? Are you trying to put down someone else? Are you trying to look big because somebody else looks stupid and small? Or are you really trying to make a difference by making others grow? By making others be better? Are you trying to get yourself be better? Are you trying to get off from your addiction to bitterness, sourness, whatever you call it? Are you trying to become a light? Are you trying to become a beacon of light for yourself, for your friends, for your family, for your children, for the people you're working with? Is that what you're doing right now? Yes? Go for it! No? Stop. Stop sign. Choose the light and go towards it. Don't, Stop sign means also no parking sign. Don't sit there. I'm this, I'm that. Choose the light and go for it. Don't think too much. Why? They start to honk behind you. You're going to get a ticket. You're standing too long by the stop sign. You're not supposed to park over there. Choose the light and move towards it. This is the sign. This is the whole thing. By this, you're not a leper anymore. You're healthy. And what the word is, and now that's how we go. Zot tiyeh Torat Metsora. Okay, that's how it's called. This is the law of the leopard. Beyom taharato, on the day of his purification. Why you say leprosy and purification? Because it's two sides. Purification, the opposite side is leprosy. Leprosy is about shutting down. How? We read last week, the Zohar says, how do you say Metsora or Tzarat in Aramaic? Sagiru. What is Sagiru? Shut down. Confined and closed. You shut down yourself. You think you're going to limit someone else by bad-mouthing him? The first person you limit is yourself. You shut your energies down because you create a wall, a negative wall of energy. So, ויצא הכהן אל מחוץ והובא, and I'm sorry, I skipped one very important thing. והובא אל הכהן, and he will be brought to the Kohen. What if I don't have a Kohen in my neighborhood? What if I don't have a Kohen under my possession? What I can, can I fetch a Kohen? It's a joke, okay? The Zohar explains that you talk about the Kohen in the ancient time, the Kohen, the children of Aaron, even, people called Kohen today, they have this ability to bring in chesed, loving kindness. What heals leprosy more than anything else? Loving kindness. A little bit sour, you're bitter, the other people upset you. Breathe deep. Try to change it into loving kindness. Brother, how? Won't that feel better? So you failed the first step. Try again. Dial again. You didn't get the line. Dial again. Second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. So what? If you really want to talk to someone, you call the first time, it's a busy sound, and then you sit and cry. That's what you do. You're a baby. Life is about, they don't answer, send a WhatsApp, text message, email, call the guy sits next to them. If you really want to get someone, you'll find a way today. You'll find a way, right? You want to connect to the real thing, the endless light, the light of life, where everything is coming from, all the good stuff. So don't give up that first dial, second dial, third dial. You make the effort. Finally you get it. Okay? How do you do it? Vehuva el Kohen. Bring yourself to the Kohen. So you don't have a Kohen. Kohen is also Archangel Michael. What is Archangel Michael? That's the energy of loving kindness unconditionally. What's more fun? To feel unconditional love or to be upset about everyone? What feels better? Huh?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Touché. Okay. Amazing. So you know that you have to choose it. We have to make a choice. Oh, it's tough, we know. For all of us, we're humans. So, nafalta, takum. You fell, get up. Try again. It's not the end of the world. As long as you're trying, you didn't fail. You're still working on it, right? So try to smile, to say something nice, coming out of a nice place. Try to find that place. You can't find it. Try to connect to Angel Michael. Archangel, bring him over. Chesed vehu, that's vehu vayel Kohen. And you brought up to the Kohen. And then what's the thinking? V'hinei, what's the next thing? V'hinei nirpa negat tzarat. And here the blemish of the leprosy has been healed. When it's being healed? Vehuva el Kohen, when you bring yourself up to the, when you have somebody in a company, everybody is really into it. They want to make the money, they want to make the change in the world, they want to make this, they want to create a team spirit, they want to have a life, really. And there's a guy who says to everyone, it's not going to work. How do you call a person like this? He's a leper. When he comes in, here's come the leper. Go, I'm too busy, I'm this, run away. Nobody wants to talk to them. That's leprosy. The moment he looks at you, he already finds what's wrong with you. Who likes that? Nobody likes that. No, he's like a whole thing of sour dough walking around. You know what sourdough? You take a little of it and you put in another dough, it sours that dough too. Correct? Who wants to get in touch with the sour? Se'or. Okay? Same spelling, by the way.
Okay.
In Hebrew. Not se'ora. That's barley. That's with an ayin. Se'or with an aleph. Whoever has when you start to learn Hebrew, it's like you make a mistake. Se'or is not barley, which is chametz by itself, terribly chametz. However, when it rolls, as long as it stays, it's wheat and it's in the package and it's dry, it's not chametz. Why? Mm-hmm. Just add some water. It becomes chametz. Okay. What else do you do? Vetziva Kohen, and the Kohen will order. Velakach lemitaher, and he takes for the one who wants to get purified, the one who was a leper, and he wants, I had enough. I want to be sweet. I want just to sweeten all the judgments, everybody's judgment. You know what it is? When it says about the Kohen, it says there's a play of words. Tov Ain Hu Yevarech. The one who has a good eye, he will bless. If somebody looks at you with love, with trust, with warmth, that can burn a whole pile of chametz in one instant. Right? Because that's Archangel Michael. At that moment somebody looks at you this way, a whole burden of sourness, you just give it up and that's what I want. Somebody finally loves me. Just say something nice, with love, without judgment. Just because trusting the other person that he's okay. Why is okay? We're all okay. Just to remind us, when you study Kabbalah, you start with, who's the first one? Abraham. Who was Abraham that was a monotheist? There's one God in heaven, it's not yours. It's my God. Okay? Isn't that weird? Stupid? No, that was not Abraham's idea. He said, if there's one God, Sheba Shamayim Uvaretz, in the heaven and in the earth, we all part of that God. You and me and everyone, all of us. And you and you and you, all of you. We are all created by God. He created us to be happy. Can we fight that? No. Sooner or later, we'll become that. Can a peach sitting on the tree, after the flowers of the peach tree or the cherry tree, after they have a beautiful blooming, now it becomes a little fruit. How does that fruit taste like? Terrible. Terrible. Right? Why? It takes time. It takes time. That's how a Kabbalist teaches you how to look at other people. Why they are sour? Why are they bitter? It's in the making. It's just in the happening right now. So, when does the peach, can the peach choose when it's on the tree to have a different taste? Maybe that peach wants to become an apple. And this one wants to become a banana. Do they have any free will on that? No, whatsoever. The moment they're on the tree, it's like they'll become a peach. Sweet, good smelling, everything, they'll become a peach. The day will come. Each one of us is like that peach. Oh, we have to go through the process. Okay. So a Kabbalist is teaching you. You look at the person, what do you see? He's sour. He's hard. He's going to become a peach. Don't worry. Patience. You don't show the job half-baked to fools, right? Only to people who know how it works. If you look at the person this way, oh, you are going to become this amazing peach finally. He'll become that peach much earlier. If you just have give him that look. How many kids were the worst, horrible, dangerous kids at school till one teacher came to that child and said, I see you. You have an amazing future lying ahead of you. I'll with you. I trust you. I know it's in you. And what an amazing tree came out of that child. Why? Because that teacher, that grown-up looked at that child, that everybody saw terrible chaos, and they saw the good. That's called Vehuva el HaKohen. Bring him to the Kohen. Bring him to Archangel Michael. Bring him to loving kindness. You'll see it's going to happen. And then Velakach Lamita, and he took for the one who wants to be purified, Shtei Tziporim Chayot, 2 living birds. Why? What do birds do? Chit-chat, right? The guy, why did he become sick? He was chatting too much without responsibility. Okay? So you need birds. But listen to what else he's taking. Ve'etz erez, and a cedar tree. What's a cedar tree? A cedar tree is a symbol for standing tall and proud. Ushni tolat, and the redness of the worm. A worm, the crawling worm. You make the red color from it. And hyssop, ezov. The worm and the hyssop, they never hold themselves so big. They grow low, they lay low, they don't think they're someone. Everybody can step on them, right? So they symbolize humility. You know what? The word tola, a worm, is numerical value 506. Anybody remembers what's 506? I remind you. Whoever knows Ana Bekoach? The first line, which is Chesed, loving kindness. Ana Bekoach Gedulat Yeminecha Tatir Tzorua. Initials. Aleph Bet Gimel Yud Tav Tzadik. Numerical value 506. Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love. Also, Tola, a worm. When can you love others unconditionally? When you have the humility of a worm. When you stand tall like a cedar tree, you can't love people. Oh, this like low lives. That's why you speak evil about others. You hold yourself as a cedar tree. Well, you're really a worm. Despicable. Not the worms that make like shining colors and stuff like this. The ones that despicable people look at worm. He's a worm. And hyssop. Hyssop, they grow low. And when you use hyssop, when you want to remove negative energy, what's the connection to Passover? When we put the blood on the doorpost and the lintel, we did it with what? With 3 branches of hyssop. Because hyssop protects from any evil. When can you protect from any evil? When you lie low. When you have humility. Humility protects from any evil. While pride, you're standing tall, you just call the fire on you. The moment you I'm there, look at me. I am there taller than anyone else, stronger than anyone else, smarter than anyone else. Who do you think you are, you low life? That's what makes you speak Lashon Hara, badmouth other people. Humility saves you, because humility makes you wiser. You know what it says? כל המתגאה אמר עליו הקדוש ברוך הוא, אין אני והוא יכולים לדור בכפיפה אחת. Whoever has pride, like a cedar tree, the Creator said, I can't live with him in the same place. He's full of himself. No, he didn't leave any space for me. But when somebody has humility, he leaves all the space for the light to come in. And that's why Tolah, the worm, is exactly 506. When you hold yourself not so, I'll do my best. I'm doing my best. I can always do better. That's Moses. He never thought he's someone. That's why he was everything. Okay? So that gives us a lot. And that's why let's read the Zohar a bit about it. When it says, I'm going to start with the beginning. And it says as follows. The beginning of the Zohar Perush HaSulam. Rabbi Abba Patach, זאת תהיה תורת המצורע, גורו לכם מפני חרב, כי חיימה עוונות חרב, למען תדון שדון. It's a very enigmatic verse from the book of Job, chapter 19. And it says, be careful, be afraid of the sword. Which kind of a sword? Because chayma avonot charev. Which sword? Chayma, anger, is a sword. Avonot, sins, are a sword in which a person commits suicide with. Okay? Because there's a whole discourse in Parashat Pinchas which speaks about healing. When a person is angry, he kills himself because his liver starts to create cholesterol. And the cholesterol poisons the arteries. Like a sword. You're just stinging yourself from within. Stinging with bitterness. How do you call cholesterol in Hebrew? Mara. The bitter one. Because it comes from the biles. Right? It's bitter. Okay? Now, this is the sword that you should be afraid of. Because when you let that kill you from within, don't trust whatever you're going to say. It's going to be against you. But if you come from within, from sweetness, not from bitterness, from loving, first of all, you sound much smarter, right? Much wiser. Then people listen, okay? And then they want to be with you. And you know what? You can create a cooperation. You don't try to be right all the time and make others not right, which makes them bitter also. Leman tedun shadun, so you know the way of the devils, because that's how they do. They dwell on our mistakes, on our bitterness, all the dark side. Why? Because כל מי שאינו עוסק בתורה ואינו משתדל בה נזוף הוא מהקדוש ברוך הוא. He had something, whoever is not occupying himself in the Torah, he's shunned. Why is he shunned? Shunned away. Because you're not studying Torah, you occupy yourself with the Torah. Esek b'Torah. Esek means in Hebrew business. You know when you do business, you don't stop thinking about it. Day and at night. You think about it, you dream about it. Wherever you go, it reminds you something about your business. Nothing is not part of the business, right? Studying Torah is your biggest business. Because you are the biggest product. The study of the Torah is not to know Torah. The study of the Torah is to become the best person you can become. So occupy yourself with the Torah as being in the business of Torah, is that whatever you study in the Torah is how do I make myself a better person. When this is what occupies your mind and your heart, you're online in a network of the Torah. But when you don't do that, You are not offline. When you're offline, who are you? Try to fight by yourself against all the world's devils. Ego? Oh, you have enough. Misery? You have enough. Bitterness? Oh, you have so much. Sourness? Oh, there's so much of it. You go and you're part of them. Join the party. That's the biggest party on earth. It's called the Satan party. People are sour and they want everybody else to be sour. They're bitter. They want to make everything bitter for others. Do you want to be on that network? How do you get on the other network? That's a Torah network. The Torah network teaches you all the time what we just said. Always be watchful. The moment that bitterness creeps into your thoughts and your heart, hey, I gotcha. Stop it. Bring in the light. I'm still upset. Stop again. Bring in the light again. Till you do it right. But you are now getting help from the network because you're not alone. There's so many others working on the same network. There's so many others who did already the job. There's so many other souls who help you. That's why it says, Abadi litaher, mesayim biyado. The one who wants to become purified, they help him. Who's they? Your friends on the network. You're not alone. It's the Torah network. It's a network of positivity, but you have to be, that's why it says, Esek b'Torah, it's your business. When that's your business, that's your family, that's your friends, these are your pals. You have a whole army behind you, wherever you go. What does it matter if you want to have to sell apples, concentrated apple juice, or to sell, we don't know, spaceships. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why? People want the light. They want sweetness. They want love. When it smells like that, they say, oh, this is something I'm looking for all my life. All my life. I buy. But let me explain what I'm selling. I buy it. Don't worry. I buy it. Because deep inside, everyone wants that sweetness. And somebody who's occupying himself in the Torah, he becomes an agent. He's selling the network. That's what he's selling. Life, tree of life, ki etz chaim hi lemachzikim ba. It's a tree of life for the ones who are holding to the Torah network. Are you occupying? That's not for people studying the books and they try to get smart. So they want to make a PhD about, this section of the Torah has a discrepancy with that section of the Torah. Oh, you're smarter than the guy who wrote the Torah. Wow. I can't listen to you. Somebody told me this morning, oh, so that's Lashon Hara. I said, no, very simple, credentials. Let him first write a book that would become a bestseller for 3,000 years. Affect billions of people to become more moral, more in value, change whole world constitutions of every country, and make such an impact. And after you write a book like this, I'm willing to listen to your criticism on the Torah. Okay? But he didn't do anything of that such. Who are you to criticize the Torah? What makes you think you're smarter than the guy who wrote the Torah? And by the way, the Torah was not written to be accurate. It was written to get you online. And you miss the point. You read the Torah to find how you're smarter than the one who wrote the Torah. And you miss the whole thing. You poor guy. Look at you. You're bitter. You're sour. You always find what's wrong with somebody else. You didn't get it. You have been so close. And you had a Passover you had. You didn't get it. So when a person is doing that, so the Zohar is just explaining what I just said. You're just disconnected. Well, when the person is really doing the job, trying not to know the Torah by heart, trying to be on that frequency in which you lay low and you become strong with light, with what is real, true force, real, true wisdom. Not show off. The real wisdom of life. And then, Hashchina shoret alav, then the Shechina, the Holy Presence, dwells on you. The Holy Spirit dwells on you. And then, of course, your decision making, you'll be in the zone, ongoingly, day in, day out. Why? Because you're connecting to a network with awesome amount of power. People say, how come you have the power? It's not my power. I'm just on the network. Very simple. Now, the problem is like this. When a person does not get it, and he is offline, then he's in bitterness. He sees everything with that veil. What's in it for me? And then you start, it's belittling everything, making everything sour. If somebody rises, you try to make him low. That's where bad mouthing is coming from. And you can't be happy from other people's success. Simply, wow, so good to you. So good for you. Why? Because you can't give what you don't have. You can give only what you have. If you have sour, that's what you give. So, Bowe, I'm skipping to verse 14. כל עוונות העולם, הקדוש ברוך הוא מכפר אותם על ידי תשובה. All the sins of the world, the Creator atones them when a person does teshuvah. What is teshuvah? Simply, explanation, repentance. Really, what it says? Go back. When you go back online, that's called teshuvah. When you reconnect online, the moment the light comes in, what happens to the darkness? You unsubscribe from the Satan network. And you are now subscribed to the light network. And there's a rule, very important rule in the Torah. כל המחובר לטהור טהור. Whoever is connected to what is pure is pure. So the moment you did tshuva, the moment you return to the online is pure energy. The moment you connected to pure energy, you're pure. Simple as that. What do you want to tell me? That if I'm going to let go of all the negativity, it's going to be over it? Yes. Oh, it's not so easy, but it's simple. It is simple. When you're happy and full of love and unity with others, whatever, and then somebody reminds you, you remember yesterday you were so negative and you were, oh, forget about it. Right? Why forget about it? I forgot about it. You know what? He forgot about it too. The moment you forgot about it. But the problem is like this. All bat לשון הרע. Bad mouthing. שהוציא שם רע על חברו. When you give bad name to your friend. והרי הם ידעו שכתוב זאת תהיה תורת המצורע. Why? Remember, even if you murder someone, you killed him, he's dead. And by the way, if you didn't kill him, somebody else will kill him. The problem is, why did you kill him? But if you badmouth someone, it's a serial killing. Every time someone speaks about that guy, he kills him all over again. Can you stop that? Especially when it's going around Facebook, Twitter, and who knows what. Now it's serial killing. You can't, as long as that killing is going on, you can't get off it. You are on a negative network. It's so dangerous. Rabbi אמר, כל מי שמוציא שם רע, whoever badmouth somebody else, נטמעים כל איבריו, all his organs become impure. Shut down. וראוי להיסגר, should be shut down. משום שאותו דיבור רע עולה ומעורר עליו את רוח הטומאה. When you think that you speak evil about somebody else, no, these words you speak, they become a force that bring negative energy on yourself, bad omen on yourself, bad luck on yourself. Why? Cause and effect. And that's why, as we said, Habali Taher Mesayim Bado, who wants to become pure, they help him. Habali Tama Mesayim Bado, you want to be miserable, you want to be negative, you'll get help. Now you subscribe to the darknet. The moment you get on the darknet, oh, you don't want friends from the darknet. No, you don't. That's decisive death, right? So the point we understood that, we just want to understand one more thing before we complete. There is another part in Parashat Metsora. Kind of weird. We spoke about it in last years. I'll speak about it a little bit more. That's in chapter 14 in Vayikra, verse 33. וידבר השם אל משה ואל אהרון לאמור, כי תבואו אל ארץ כנען אשר אני נותן לכם לאחוזה. When you come to the land of Canaan that I give you as inheritance, ונתתי נגע צרעת בבית ארץ אחוזתכם, and I will give leprosy in the houses that you will inherit. And the Zohar is saying about it in Parashat Metsora. The Zohar says these words. אמר רבי אבא, said רבי אבא, וכי זה שכרם הטוב שימצא נגע אצל אותם הזוכים להיכנס לארץ.
שעוז יפריע ואני אסדר? לא, אני אצא.
Okay. So, what do we say over here? The Zohar said, you're not promising when you come to the promised land and you get houses you didn't build, but they're going to have leprosy. Says Rabbi Abba, oh, you're really making us happy. We're going to have houses with leprosy. Oh, I'm going to have a house with leprosy, I'm going... How does that sound like? Really, like, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So, there are 3 or 4 layers of explanation to that. One is simple. The Zohar quotes it. One is, when the Canaanites heard the Israelites are coming, like in many, many occasions like this, there is a war, you're afraid the occupant are going to take all your money. So what do? You hide your treasures in the walls. And you run away. And you think at night, I'll crawl back and I get my treasures. If I survive. Okay? Sometimes you do. Most of the time you don't. And then you have treasure in the walls. And in archaeology, they found a lot of treasures like this. Correct? So, when you come to the land, if there's a treasure in the wall, there will be a leprosy on the wall. So you can, you can find the treasures. Oh, that's very nice. So not just a house with a treasure. Okay? But they're very simplistic. Why? Because it says, if you find and you think you have leprosy on the wall, if that was for a treasure, what do? You start breaking the wall, right? You take a hammer and a chisel and you start making, right? Holes in the walls, looking for the treasure. No, you bring a Kohen. You ask the Kohen, and then you take all your belongings out of the house, because if the Kohen says it's a leprosy, everything in the house is impure. Oh. So there's another thing. When a person, says the Ramban, Nachmanides, when a person has, a friend, somebody comes to you and he says like, oh, I need some chairs because I have a lot of guests. And we have a party. We have a Sheva Brachot where, we're celebrating a big mitzvah thing and I don't have enough chairs. Okay? So you don't want to give away, you share with your neighbors what you've got? You'll see leprosy on the walls. The Kohen will come and now you have to take all your belongings and put it on the lawn in front. It's not a, how do you call it, garage sale. It's just you have leprosy, and you have to put everything there and all your neighbors see what you've got. Oh, you do have a lot of chairs. You said you have no chairs. That's why you have leprosy, because you never shared. Okay, that's one thing. But again, it doesn't reconcile the whole thing about, so why do you have to destroy that part of the wall? No, first the Kohen says, make a quarantine. Nobody approach it. I make marks and I'll come in a week. He comes in a week, and if he sees that this is malignant, it spreads all over. This is real leprosy. That part of the wall has to be taken out. Taken out, and a new part will be built. Okay. What about, so why do you need a Kohen? And if that goes on, even after you change that part of the wall, you have to destroy the house, remove the stones, remove the soil, and outside of the city, bring new soil, new stone. Do you know, in ancient times, they recycled everything. When they found a house that is decomposed, they used the stones. The stones were precious. Especially limestones is precious. You use the old stones, you reuse them. Now you know how much money it is to get it out of the town. Can't use it. You have to bring new ones. It doesn't make sense. What about the treasures? Says the Zohar, the new layer is, another layer is, the Canaanites. They were so much into idol worshipping. Everything, they were obsessed with it. Now we know archaeology. Wherever you dig, around Israel, you find a Canaanite house. How do you know it's a Canaanite house? You see the witchcraft in every room. Witchcraft tools in every room. It's so like Africa witchcraft, like, voodoo stuff, everywhere, in every room. They were obsessed with it. Says the Zohar, they were obsessed with witchcraft. So what do you think? When they started to build a house, the first stone, what we call the cornerstone, they put the stone and they summoned in, they invited in all the negativity, all the dark side, all the dark forces. You invite it, it comes in. Now, the Israelites come in, they put a mezuzah, they light candles for Shabbat, make Kiddush, make Suda, a meal, Chanukah Habayit, whatever, all of this, they bring holiness into the house. What's Chanukah Habayit? So most people say dedication of the house. No, it's not. Why? That's what it means on a general way. But what's the shoresh of the word Chanukah? Chet Nun Kaf. What's Chet Nun Kaf? Lechanech, to educate. It's education of the house. You want to educate the house to be where? On the Torah net, on the positive light net. Why do you put a mezuzah? That's a SIM card for the house. The moment you put that SIM in, and there's a special place to do that, on the upper third on the right when you come in, at the bottom. That's where you put your SIM. You put your house on the net of holiness. When you do that, the house is connected now to the network of holiness. You educate the house to be on the right network, never to be negative. However, if that was not strong enough to drive away all the negativity the Canaanites put into it, the fight, says the Zohar, between the two forces, the dark net and the light net, if that fight went on too long, the leprosy started to show up on the walls. They would bring the Kohen to bring more positivity. If that didn't work, destroy the house. You can't use the stones. They cannot be educated. They're too much negative. Get it out. Bring in new stones. Right? So we learn from that. The Zohar says, whenever you build a house, you have to put a cornerstone. And you have to say with your word, that's a power of motzilo, to bring out your words and to put the seed, the amount of putting the seed. Only positive words. Say positive words when you put the cornerstone. Say with your mouth, this house is going to be built for the light of God. For positive actions, for mitzvot, for the Torah, for holiness. Nothing else is invited into this house. When you say it, you now, right now, connected that house to the light net. Okay? Now, what if you just bought a house? You rented the house. So you put a mezuzah and you do exactly the same thing, and you do Chanukat Habayit to educate the house to be on the light net. And then you have light inside the house. And the more light you reveal in the house, the more it's educated it is. And that's about your body, the body you built, that's a thought you put in, the environment you create around you. It's all about putting the seeds with the right thoughts, and especially with the right speech. It comes from the right place. So, Chodesh Tov, Shavua Tov. Good luck for everyone. Good fortune.